I never expected guilt to feel like drowning. Yet there I was, frozen in the middle of my living room, staring at the soft glow of my phone screen while my husband's name lit up again and again. He was calling because he trusted me. Calling because he loved me. Calling because he believed I was everything I promised I would be. And I had betrayed him. The vibration of the phone buzzed against the coffee table like it was shaking with truth. My fingers trembled. I pressed decline. My heart thudded with a strange mix of panic and regret. For a moment the house fell quiet, painfully quiet, as though the walls themselves were holding their breath. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to take everything back. Instead, I sank onto the sofa, hands over my face, chest tight. A whisper of his voice echoed in my head, gentle and steady the way it always was. I trust you completely, Mia. His trust once felt like comfort. Tonight it felt like a blade pressed to my skin. The air still carried the faint smell of Liam's cologne. Woods and citrus. It clung to my sweater like evidence. I had tried wiping it off. I had scrubbed my skin raw. But guilt does not wash away with soap or tears. Liam. The mistake I swore I would never make yet somehow had walked into willingly. A coworker. A friend at first. Someone who listened too closely, laughed too deeply, and stayed in my orbit long after he should have stepped away. I had convinced myself it was harmless. Innocent lunches. Friendly texts. Emotional comfort in moments when my marriage felt dull and routine. That was the lie I fed myself. Until tonight. A kiss. A moment. A choice that cannot be undone. And now my husband was calling again. I ignored it. Again. My breathing turned shaky as footsteps echoed from outside. Light steps. Familiar rhythm. My pulse spiked. I shot up too fast, panic shooting through me like ice water. No. He was supposed to be out of town. He was supposed to be 3 hours away. The door unlocked. The click felt like thunder. A surprise. His voice floated in before he did. Warm. Soft. Happy. Thought I would come home early and make you dinner. I nearly broke right there. He stepped inside holding grocery bags and smiling like I was his whole world. His eyes found me instantly, that easy, familiar warmth settling into them. Except mine did not match. He noticed. I saw confusion flicker across his face. Then concern. Mia. He set the bags down slowly. You look like you've seen a ghost. Are you okay? I swallowed. My throat burned. The room felt too bright, every sound too sharp. It was like my own heartbeat was betraying me too. Just tired, I whispered, voice barely steady. He walked toward me, lips lifting into a soft smile. I missed you. His arms wrapped around me before I could react. And for the first time in years, I did not melt into his embrace. My body stayed stiff, my stomach twisted with self-loathing. He pulled back slightly as if sensing a storm he could not see. Mia, talk to me. I forced a smile. Really, I'm fine. He studied me quietly, eyes searching. He had always been able to read me. Always. Maybe that was why this moment felt like suffocating in my own skin. Something flickered behind his eyes. Hurt. Worry. Doubt. And I hated myself for putting it there. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at it. I saw his expression shift. Confusion. Then something sharper. You weren't answering my calls. His tone stayed gentle, but there was a new edge beneath it. Everything all right today? My throat tightened. Yes. I just needed silence. His eyes dropped. His voice dropped with them. You turned off your location earlier. I froze. He looked up again, gaze heavy, not accusing but searching. Why would you do that? My pulse hammered. My palms sweat. Fear twisted with guilt inside me like tangled vines. For a second the world stopped breathing. I forced words out. I wanted some space. He held my gaze for a long moment. Too long. Then he nodded. Slow. Controlled. Calm. But not convinced. Okay. He stepped back, his voice barely above a whisper. Space. I can give you that. But his eyes told another story. He knew something was wrong. And I could feel his trust starting to crack. Even before I said a word. Even before he learned the truth. The truth that would destroy us both. I felt it already. Our marriage had just stepped into a storm. And the worst part was, I had opened the door myself. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, memories flashed like a cruel film I could not shut off. Liam leaning closer. My breath hitching. The moment I crossed a line I once believed I never could. A moment of weakness that now felt like a lifetime sentence. Morning light crept into the room, pale and cold. My husband, Adrian, stood at the kitchen counter, stirring coffee. He did not look at me when I walked in. The silence between us was thick, heavy enough to choke on. "Good morning," I murmured. He nodded. Not cold. Not angry. Just quiet. Controlled. That frightened me more than yelling ever could. He slid a mug toward me. I reached for it, but his fingers brushed mine before I could pull away. My chest tightened. Once, his touch felt like home. Today it felt like judgment. "About yesterday," he said softly, I still fixed on his coffee, "you seemed off." I swallowed. The lie sat at the edge of my tongue, desperate to escape. "I was just stressed," I whispered. He finally met my gaze. His eyes were calm, but behind that calmness, there was something else. A storm trying to stay contained. "Are you sure?" he asked quietly. "Because it felt like you were somewhere else. With someone else." The room seemed to tilt. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Panic clawed up my throat. My pulse drummed so loudly I wondered if he could hear it. His voice stayed soothing, steady, painfully gentle. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" I nodded, but it felt like my head was made of stone. He exhaled slowly. "Okay. Then I will believe you. For now." For now. 2 words that cut deeper than anger ever could. He gathered his jacket and keys. I watched his movements like someone watching a glass fall in slow motion. "I have errands," he said. "I'll be back later." His tone sounded normal. Too normal. That was the part that terrified me. Before leaving, he paused at the door. Looked back. His voice softened in a way that made guilt crush my ribs. "Whatever is happening, Mia, I hope you still choose us." The door clicked shut. I sank onto a chair, tears spilling instantly. I did not deserve his gentleness. His love. His trust. He had always been good to me, even when life felt monotonous or when I felt unseen in moments that I later weaponized as excuses. None of those excuses justified what I had done. How do you live with yourself when you break the heart of someone who never deserved it? My phone buzzed. "Liam." I stared at the text. "We need to talk." No. Talking was what started this. I typed quickly. "Do not contact me again." He replied instantly. "Mia, last night meant something." A bitter laugh escaped me. Regret tasted metallic in my mouth. "It meant a mistake. Please respect this." He stopped replying. Silence returned. Only this time, it felt like punishment I deserved. Hours crawled. When Adrian returned, his expression was unreadable. Calm. Too calm. "We need to talk," he said gently. My stomach dropped. I followed him to the living room. My heart beat so hard I thought it would burst. He sat across from me, hands folded, posture composed. My legs shook. "I love you," he began. "You know that. But something feels wrong. And I need the truth, no matter how much it hurts." Tears burned. I wanted to confess. I wanted to scream. But fear choked me. "I have been honest," I whispered. He closed his eyes. A long breath. Pain tightened his jaw, but he remained steady. "All right," he said quietly. "I wanted to believe you would tell me yourself." His hand moved. He placed his phone on the table. My blood ran cold. He pressed play. My voice. In a whisper. "From last night. Liam, this is wrong." His voice. Soft. Intimate. Then stop me. A sickening silence followed. My heart stopped. He knew. He had recorded us. Somehow he had known before he walked through that door. I could not breathe. My body shook like it couldn't contain its own shame. He stood slowly. No shouting. No rage. Just heartbreak so raw it felt like a knife dragging across my skin. I hoped I was wrong, he whispered. I prayed I was wrong. But you chose him. I fell to my knees, sobbing. Adrian, please. It was a mistake. I am sorry. I am so sorry. He knelt in front of me, tears finally escaping his eyes. His voice broke in a way I had never heard. I would have forgiven anything but this. Not the betrayal. Not the lying. Not watching you look at someone the way you used to look at me. His hand cupped my cheek once more. A final kindness. I loved you more than my own pride. More than anything I dreamed for my future. And you threw it away for excitement. My body shook harder. He stood and stepped back. I am leaving for now. I need space to decide what happens next. But Mia. He paused, gaze cutting through me. Some things cannot be undone. And trust, once broken, does not return the same. He walked toward the door. I reached out, desperate. Please do not go. He stopped. But he did not turn around. I gave you my heart. You chose a moment instead. The door closed behind him. Silence swallowed the room. And in that silence, I felt the weight of everything I had destroyed. Love does not always end with screaming or anger. Sometimes it ends quietly, with tears on the floor and a door that closes softly instead of slamming. Sometimes the loudest heartbreak is the one where the person leaves politely, because you did not deserve even their rage. And as the coldness of the empty house wrapped around me, one final truth settled into my bones like ice. I had not just lost my husband. I had lost the version of myself he believed in.